Well, Shaun McDonald, a man who's been here at the Super Series right from the very start in Southampton. He's back on the stage here in Portsmouth. Now, you came here a few weeks ago. It was your first taste, first sample of the competition in this format. What was your first impressions when you walked on this stage?
That it was really big, a lot bigger than the room in Southampton. You could tell it was a few steps up on a bit of professionalism. Really liked the surroundings, and Saturday night was great. Once the crowd are in here, I mean, it's a great stage on its own, but with the crowd in it, it does give you that feel a bit, that it's a bit extra special.
As I say, you did a lot of the Live League as it was back in Southampton. Could you imagine the parallels from that room in Southampton to when you first stepped up on that stage? Could you imagine how far it's come in that short space of time?
I mean, I'm a finance director, so the business side of things really interests me, and it's great to see the product and how it's grown and what Modus have managed to do here. And probably speaking on behalf of all the players without a tour card, we love this. This is great. It gives you the best possible practice that's out there.
You mentioned obviously your job away from darts. It's a very full-on job, and I suppose for you, is darts something that's a bit more of a serious hobby, if that makes sense?
Not sure about serious. I'm competitive once I start playing, but no, I've got a young family, wife and 2 boys. We're always busy. We're an active family, and the boys especially keep me really busy. My job in its nature is really busy, so this is kind of like my getaway. I try and play one a month, Henry, if I can. Whether it be a Challenge Tour, a WDF, even a Scottish event, or down here, which is great. So that's about as much time as I have, but that's my getaway. That's my downtime, my me time, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
So when you come into competitions like this, we speak to a lot of players who maybe are chasing ranking points in other top competitions or looking to get that financial gain to get them to other tournaments and things like that. And I suppose for you, the mindset must be completely different. Of course, you're going to go out there to win the same as everybody else, but I suppose that pressure to perform isn't as magnified because of elsewhere circumstances.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Although my 2 boys say that if I get to Champions Week and win it, we've got to go to Florida. So there's a bit of pressure there. Yeah, but no, I'm not playing to win. I'm already a professional. It's just not at darts. Mm-hmm. So, I've worked my way up in business. I've got my chartered accountancy. I've got a good foothold. It's not for financial gain. It's pride. It's enjoyment, and I love winning. But when I don't win, that's okay. And when I do win, then I just enjoy it. It's not me looking at what's next and what's next. It's not about that. It's just enjoyment.
Where did the Shaun McDonald darts journey begin?
I think my dad would tell you when I was in a buggy and he played at pub level, and I'd be reaching out the buggy trying to get them. He'd take the flights and stems off, and I'd be throwing them out. And I think I had a sticky dartboard on about my Christmas when I was maybe 2, something like that. So I was playing really young. I think my mum played a little bit as well, but kind of not as much, and my grandmother played quite a lot, so it was all around me. So as a kid, I played regularly, and then, probably when I turned about, I think 14, I started playing for the local golf club and playing Scottish youth events and stuff, and that's when it really kind of kicked on. But then stopped when I was 23, 24. I stopped playing altogether, so there's a massive gap in my career.
Because it was a very successful youth career, a World Masters youth title back in the day. What was the factors which was it career that maybe said to you that maybe I need to just put the darts away for a little while?
There was a few things. I tried to become pro. That was my aim in my late teens, early 20s. Ultimately, wasn't good enough at that point. Didn't have enough backing to give it a few more years. Kind of came to a point in life where I was thinking, where am I going? Mm-hmm. So kind of knuckled down at work really instead. And once I started studying, there was no time for darts. I was working full time, studying full time, doing professional exams. So darts had to take a back seat. And then at the end of that, my wife and I started having family and things. So it never really came back into my mind. I still watched it, enjoyed it, still had the board up and would have a throw now and then. But it never really came back into my mind until lockdown, which provided the opportunity to play a bit more. And then I've just kind of came back from there.
So when you picked that board up again, what was the moment that gave you the bug to say, do you know what? I'm going to give this another go?
We were still in lockdown, and the PDC got a professional exemption to put Q School to go ahead. And I literally thought, I've done nothing for months. I'm just going to go see how far away I am, something to do. And I got to the final stage. So then I was like, oh, it's coming back here. I can now play Challenge Tour, so I'll do it. And almost won it. Finished second by £100. And that's now I've just kind of factored that in. Like I said to you, one a month. It's now just into my social calendar, which is not very big. And that's where I've come from.
Did you expect after that Q Tour, did you expect that to be a one-off thing, just something to chance your arm and just see whether you were there? Or did you think in the back of your mind, if it went well, maybe we can look at some other avenues?
Yeah, I think I remember discussing with my wife that I'd probably do Challenge Tour. The Challenge Tour plan wasn't out, and I think back then, it was maybe 5 weekends a year. So I thought, I can do that. I'll maybe go back and just try. I'd been playing online, and with a private group online. We used to play a Friday and I think a Wednesday as well. And I noticed that I'd been doing okay against players that had done well just before lockdown. So I thought, I'm playing a decent level here. I'll come back and see what happens. But yeah, there was no long-term. There still are no long-term plans. It's still the case, Henry, that if something is extra busy at home or something comes up at work, I don't play for weeks. Competitively, I'll still try and pick them up in the house, but that's just the way it is.
And then you get the call to come here, originally in Southampton, and then you have that really good 2021, and then you get that World Championship appearance.
Yeah.
What was it like when you walked through those doors of the Lakeside, such an iconic place for the first time?
Yeah, that was cool. Hair's kind of on the back of your neck, stand up, especially when you walk out to a nursery rhyme, But I just wish it had been full. That's the only thing. Like, there is a bit of it. I really hope this year, having qualified again, I really hope this year that there's a bigger turnout, and I think early ticket sales have been good signs. But it's still, to go up on that stage, from my county, it was Bob Taylor who I'd watched up there growing up, and then I was down to watch John Henderson make his debut. So to follow those guys onto that stage is it gives me some pride,
Did it feel almost like a vindication of everything that you did, the decisions that you made to get back into the sport when you made that appearance on the stage?
No, because I never set that out as a goal. It was, what did I had 5, after Challenge Day, I hadn't played any WDF. It was an extended season because of COVID. There was 5 events left. That was it. And I didn't actually qualify. I was 1 or 2 spots outside. I'd done well in the 5 tournaments that were left, but it wasn't enough to make up that enormous gap. But then a couple of withdrawals came in, and I got in, through the back. I was down to play the qualifier. I was down that morning, and didn't have to register because I think there was, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but it was a Russian fella, and he'd been given, there was something coming up about travelling was difficult back then, and he'd been given a deadline, and before the qualifier, obviously, because he didn't want me playing the qualifier and then someone pulls out, because then it makes a bit of a joke of it. So, yeah, I was down on that morning, ready to play.
So moving forward, as you say, there's other things that take priority. Is it a case for you, for as long as you possibly can, playing things like this, play whatever events that you can do with restrictions obviously around your job? Is it just a case of enjoying it, enjoying the process and all that sort of stuff for as long as possible?
Yeah, I think I've found a little schedule that works for me. So our head office at work is not too far from here, and I'm down about once a month. So I've kind of given the organisers my dates that, you know, if there are any opportunities on a Thursday, it has to really be Thursday or Friday night, but I'm down anyway. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I've been working today and then just nip down on the train afterwards and I can play Thursday, Friday night. If kind of the schedule stays here the same and I can do that every 12, 13 weeks, and that's fantastic. That's going to really keep me motivated and keep going. And then I'll just plug in what I can other than that. If I go on a run and do well and see where that takes me, then great. But yeah, it's just a hobby. I'm just enjoying it. So there'll be a few people in here tonight who are here to win and serious, and I'll be trying to beat them, but it won't be the be-all and end-all for me. And defeats will hurt less for me than it will for them.
Enjoying that nice balance between playing and other things.
Yeah, absolutely. That's you know, just because some people don't have a tour card, they might still be professional. So this is really serious for them. But it's not for me. Win, lose or draw, well, you can't draw, but win or lose, you know, I'll be back to work on Monday as normal, and I'll have enjoyed my weekend.
Well, Shaun, absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure having you here at the Super Series over the last couple of years. Just a little bit of an insight into, well, an all-time legend, if we can call you that, here at the Modus Super Series. Shaun McDonald, he's still hungry for more.